Wrestle Chat Media. We live right now. Live right now. Gonna talk all about SummerSlam and all the craziness that we had going on tonight. I mean, it was crazy, DJ right here, not on the ones and twos, but I'm here. Casey's over there to the far right, unless you're looking at your screen upside down or something, maybe to the far left. He on my right, okay? So it's probably opposite. Let's be honest. It's probably opposite because he on my right. So it's probably completely opposite. You probably like, this man don't even know his left from right, bro. Why you they're probably like T-Shawn? They in T-Shawn's DMs right now. They're like, T-Shawn, this man don't even know his left from right, bro. And then of course we got T-Shawn the one, of course. We got a little. We talking everything SummerSlam. With that, I mean,
so we're not gonna address the elephant in the room. Instant classic wrestling in the building. We're not gonna. Now I know for those that's just like just real historians or geeks, they know that y'all whooped our ass. Who's the champion? It was a long time ago, but I got to talk about that grudge, man. Y'all still stole our title, man. Y'all stole our title.
We take titles from everybody.
I don't remember stealing. I remember, acquiring. That's how I look at it.
SummerSlam is awesome. It was awesome.
SummerSlam was awesome. Where should we start, man? That's the real question.
Real quick side note. I just want to point out something that DJ said before we went on the air, thinking I won't go for the cheap Pro Wrestling Tees plug, ProWrestlingTees.com/CR O'Malley. Yeah, you didn't think I'd do it.
See? Right. Look at him. See? He did it. Anyway.
I gotta make that bread.
Got to. That 2 cents per nickel, 2 cents per nickel.
Pretty much.
But I mean, where should we start, Keyshawn? I mean, what's burning in you tonight in terms of SummerSlam? What's the burning part?
Can we start off with the meat and potatoes, man? Can we start off with the meat and potatoes on this one?
I mean,
Roman Reigns is back, y'all.
Should we go back to the like we shouldn't start with the appetizer or nothing? No, we just gonna get right in it.
Everybody's talking about it right now. So far on all the groups and all the little groups right now, everybody talking about some Roman Reigns, and I put out a little post on Wrestle Chat. I put out about Roman Reigns possibly the whole retribution relation there because his T-shirt, and so right now on Twitter, Instagram, speculations are out there, and it's. I really believe that. I don't think it's gonna. I don't know. It might not go that way. WWE has that habit of not going that way. So when we get to that, I guess when we get to covering that, I love to talk about that and the rumors. I'm a conspiracy theorist at times.
First off, this the Roman I like right here. I mean, I love Roman regardless. I'm one of them weirdos that like since he went on his own, I was always everybody was on Roman sucks, Roman can't wrestle, he's boring, blah blah blah. I was on the other end. I was on the other end of the spectrum. Look, let's talk. This is the Roman I like right here. This is the Roman we probably should have got from the beginning. The stuff he was saying, like the stuff he was saying.
Recite some of it because I was like, hold up, he sounds like he's talking shit. He was talking he was saying some things.
He was, man. He was upset that he lost his, even though it was obviously his doing, but still upset that he lost his spot at WrestleMania. He was upset that this match was even happening. But I like that he came in at the end. He let the workers do what they do, and then he beat him up afterwards. And beat up Braun on top of that, because I was talking to some of my friends when I was watching the show, and I was like, Braun, number one, I think is turning heel, it looks like, but also Braun should never get beat up. Have you seen the man? Look at this dude. This dude is freaking huge. The dude should turn heel and beat up everybody.
He did. He did.
Yeah, yeah.
Did he not?
Tonight,
I
I
thought.
think tonight was like the first little, well, probably the last couple of SmackDowns when he debuted the ball head and they were this like new monster type deal. That's when he started to be a little bit more okay. This dude's about to turn heel, which is what Braun needs to do. Because to me, in my opinion, Braun does not make sense as a face. Braun, he just doesn't. He's too big. He's not like it's like turning Big Show into a face. It don't make sense. Big Show's too big to be a face. Big Show just needs to be beating people up. Kane's a monster. He doesn't need to be a face. You know, it doesn't make sense. Every once in a while, yes, you can make that turn if you book it right. But like,
I'm a little different on Kane. Kane can just be neutral. Like when he was neutral, Kane, it
mm-hmm.
was he was just awesome just to look at, and the whole character was just.
I give you the tweener aspect, but I don't think Kane should ever be full face. You know, I think
No,
any monster type character, you can't do it. Like I don't care if the fans love it. You just give them the title then if that's the case. If the fans love it, but you keep that little, you keep that same energy. I think that's just how I feel about it. I mean, I like Braun like this more because I don't think Braun fits the mold of a face. Like he can't talk. I mean, the only thing he can say is get these hands. Like, and I love this. It's great. I love it. But that's all he got for me. And
he's not a Gene Snitsky. He can talk. He can carry a conversation.
He can talk, but I'd rather hear him talk about beating you up than I would him talk about being in love with Alexa Bliss. I'm just saying.
I take that one. You're right. Casey,
how you feeling about Roman's return? Of course, you found out a little bit differently than the rest of us, but nonetheless, what happens? Things happen. Crazy things happen. My boy is back, and I didn't even get the chance to go. Ooh, wow. Like he didn't even let me. That's what I'm mad about. Okay, I'm upset now.
That's what lets you know he's healed because he didn't go ooh all it. He didn't do all it.
I don't know. I'm gonna be like the odd man out here because I can never get excited. There's a couple people I can never get excited for when they return, and unfortunately, Roman's one of them. And it's not his fault. A lot of it is the fans' fault because it's so hard to judge how the fans are going to react to him. Are they gonna be happy he's back? Are they gonna be upset that he's back? And it's like it shouldn't, but it does really kind of persuade how you feel about his return or the storyline or whatever. The fans can do that, and it's like half of the fans just hate him to hate on him.
Yeah,
like
I agree with that. I want to ask you this too. Both of you really. Is it hard for them right now to garner the reaction? Because even with the Thunderdome, which I like, and I guess we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But even with the Thunderdome, which I kind of like, I think it's better than nothing. It's better than nobody there. But they're still just using ambient noise. They're not really using the sound of the crowd. I don't feel like as much as they could. But then I think it's hard because everybody's in their own little places. Little Jimmy's talking to his wife. Little Timmy, actual little Timmy. He trying to say, "Mama, I need a snack." Like, so we're not getting everything that we're supposed to get from this. So I don't know. I mean, I wonder, are they having a hard time trying to because they could pipe in boos, or they could pipe in cheers, or they could pipe in the little mixed reaction or whatever. But what do you do in these situations when you don't really have a true crowd because you can't feed off of whatever the crowd wants to do? Now you want to try to make your own reaction, but the issue with that is, what if the fans come back and they got the complete opposite reaction? Now they done screwed all your momentum.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you can't do. Like, you can't, in this situation, you can't pipe in cheers. You can't pipe in boos because, okay, what happens if you pipe in a big pop and you see that literally no one on the screens are reacting? It'll look awkward. It'll be like, okay, like they're not popping, but we're hearing a pop. What? Like, same with boos. If you don't see them actually reacting, it's gonna be weird. It's not gonna be natural. And I didn't think it was terrible tonight. I really didn't. With the ambient noise, I think that helped a little bit. Obviously, there's no perfect answer for what's going on right now. You know, whether you pipe in the ambient noise, whether you pipe in cheers and boos, whatever, nothing's going to be perfect because the fans aren't actually there. Without the fans actually there, it's not the same. But they're doing the best that they can with what they're given. And I think they're doing a pretty good job. We talked about it last night with the takeover review about how, you know, at least WWE and AEW are trying, whereas Impact, they don't even try to have a crowd. No, it's cool, bro. It's cool.
Well, too, you know, the issue is like we talked about yesterday, and I want to hear Keyshawn's perspective on this too. The issue is, I think it's taken away from some of the matches because we're not getting reactions. We're not getting the oohs and the ahs. We literally got a sunset flip powerbomb on the floor, and I didn't hear nothing except for myself going, "Oh," like that was it.
Well,
Keyshawn,
my
do you
thing
feel like we're having a
is,
hard time getting a reaction? Do you feel like we're having a hard time, mustering a reaction because you can't just pipe? You can try to pipe in chants, but it's hard because you don't want to pipe in chants and then they don't make sense.
oh, so that's how. Oh, the first off, you're educating me right now. I had no idea that. So that's how you type in a chant and it gives like WWE is supposed to like their the system puts a chant like the it creates a vocal chant.
It's something like that because when you watch like they're doing something similar because what the NBA is doing is like then because you think about it, like if we all of us join in to Raw or let's just say it's tomorrow, we join in the Raw right now, all of our sounds are gonna be different. We can't be in unison because we're not in the same place. So like what the NBA is doing, the NBA is pumping in defense. The NBA is pumping in, let's go Nuggets. Like they're pumping in those chants, and they have to because if I say let's go Nuggets, you say let's go Nuggets, Casey says let's go Nuggets. Not that we'd ever say anything crazy like that, but if we all said that, then it don't sound right. Oh, let's go Roman. Let's go with that. Okay, for Casey, he probably see Roman. He would say Roman sucks.
Digitally, the sound will be off and all that type of stuff.
Exactly.
Wow, I just got educated on it. Like I had no idea how that worked, and then like that was a question in my head, and you just answered it. So now knowing that it's something, I guess it would work by them. They press a button, they would be like, okay, I want to boo. They push boo, and then it shows the sound reaction of boo from that particular fan that's watching. That's dope. That explains a lot. But my thing is also, I'm going a little left field with it. How are they doing this? I mean, like, how they protecting the lives? Far as I know, Raw and SmackDown. No, SmackDown was supposed to be pre-taped, and there's pre-taped shows. So if you got people tuned in, are they watching this? They're watching the show before it airs, and they can wait.
Yeah, it was kind of like what we was talking about earlier. Where we felt like at least I felt like coming from a producer standpoint, there was a couple of issues at the beginning of the show because they hadn't done a live show in a while. Because a lot of times, WWE probably does like live, but like they don't really want to do a redo. You never really want to do a redo. You want to just keep it going like as if it's live, even if it is pre-recorded. It's less editing for you, but still, I think this was the first show that was live, except for, of course, Takeover, last night too. I think Takeover was live too. But this was the first show that was live with the Thunderdome and all that. Actually, no, I'm wrong. SmackDown. Because I don't think you can do a show like this and do it pre-recorded. If I'm not mistaken, this was live. This was definitely live.
What I'm talking about is not this one, not SummerSlam. I'm talking about like SmackDown and Raw. Like remember they was recording some. So how does that work with the audience?
I think they're either gonna have to like have a set, like you register to be on the show, and they tell you the time that you need to be there. But when I registered for, and I have to look at it, but when I registered for mine, and I ended up getting put in Raw, I think I still ended up getting. They told me they would tell me a time later, so that makes me think they're gonna send me a link sometime near 8 o'clock tomorrow, saying, "Hey," because if not, they would have already done it. You know, they would have been already done it, so they can put it together and have it ready for tomorrow. I think the Thunderdome stuff, especially as of right now, is live to try to get some sort of organic reactions just from other people.
But for the most part, the ambient noise and whatnot like that, it was to me. I'm on agreements with Casey. It was cool. Little awkward because well, now that I'm knowing what I'm knowing now, I didn't know that. So I had a whole boatload of complaints, but now that I know, I'm a little educated on how it works. Now I'm more understanding. So if that's how it works, then yeah, I I think it made it better to me. It
It
made
was better. It was better than Friday. I'll tell you that. I didn't watch much of Friday, but I watched a little bit of Friday, and it had this just a like this show. It was a little bit of an ambient noise just naturally, but Friday it had like an ambient noise like it felt like everybody's webcams were coming in, like all the sound was coming in, but not the actual vocals of the people talking, but just the just the background noise from the webcams. That was it, and it sounded weird, but they really did a good job with that tonight. I felt like they had really fixed it.
and it's a lot of weird stuff that's going on in some of these people's streams. I think I saw a couple do. You know what? I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna wait and just probably try to see if I can view it back again. I saw some weird stuff. There's even pictures of people posting pictures of some. I think somebody had a T-shirt they put up about Dream. It's a lot of crazy stuff going on. It's gonna get hecka weird. But something that I wanted to say before we move along is I like what Kevin Owens did, which opens the door for a lot of different situations. He was like, I think my wife's watching on, like, I think she's in one of the little view streams or whatever like that. And I was like, that I can see them doing it on one of the future shows where a family member's watching and they attacking the other. So I can't wait to see them explore the realms with this because this is uncharted territory. This is something totally new. Us fans, we've never had this happen. I mean, except with like the Via type of stuff, but this has never ever happened. So I'm looking forward to how it progresses.
Right. The real quick, I want to mention the Street Profits and the Garza Andrade feud thing. I don't like it. I like Andrade. I like Garza. I like the Street Profits. But like they've been trying to break up Andrade and Garza for like 3 months now, and you got the Viking Raiders who are a real team and a well-oiled machine. You got other tag teams, and I can't think of any on Raw right now, but the Viking Raiders are the one that comes to mind definitely that you have that had a good feud with the Street Profits, but I don't think it ever truly ended. I'll never understand why they put almost like a makeshift tag team against the Street Profits and expect me to believe that they're going to win when instead you could have put a real tag team against them and made me feel a little bit more like, okay, this is the culmination of all they've been going through, especially with the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders because they've been doing so much. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong. That's one of the feuds on this show that I have a hard time getting behind because it just doesn't feel like Andrade and Garza are going to do anything as a tag team, so there's no reason for me to care right now.
Case?
I mean, the thing for me, like I love the Street Profits. I think they're an amazing tag team. I think charisma wise they have it, in ring wise they have it.
We're just trying to keep the fat, by the way. We're just trying to get the
Garza,
fat out of the way so we can get to the real deal stuff. That's all.
yeah, I mean Garza and Andrade are good, and from what I remember, I believe they're actually cousins, if I'm not mistaken. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they have chemistry together. I feel like they don't have that tag team chemistry together. There's something about them that just it's to me it's one of those situations where they just put them together because they happen to be related, put some matching gear on them, and they're like, oh, it's a tag team. That's not how a tag team works. It's not. And then you have teams like DJ was saying, like the Viking Raiders or War Machine, whatever you want to call them, who have literally been have been tagging together for years before they came to WWE. You know, they were working together in Japan, in Ring of Honor, in countless other indie promotions. They know each other. They're like brothers. Like, that's a tag team. And then another team that WWE split up that still pisses me off, because again, they were a team for years on the independents. They came to WWE together and they were a team, and then they split them up, which was TMDK, the Mighty Don't Kneel, or TM61, which they changed them to for a while there. But then they released Nick Miller and kept Shane Thorne, and then just replaced Nick Miller and tried to make it the same team. No, no, that you can't. That's like releasing Matt Hardy, which they did obviously, and then just putting somebody else in, tagging with Jeff and being like, it's the Hardy Boys. No, it's not. It's not. But I mean, you have teams that have teamed together for years, that know each other, that have the chemistry, but you'd rather put a makeshift team together and try to make us believe that they're gonna win? No.
I mean, and Garza and Andrade better be lucky that they got Zelina Vega with them, because that's the only reason I keep watching. Lord, Lord, that's the only reason I keep watching that team. Because
I'm all for the team. The reasons why is because Andrade and Garza. I believe Garza is Humberto's. That's his cousin. So Andrade was beefing with Humberto. They was going at it back and forth in the feud. And so Garza, which is Humberto's cousin, he basically flipped. Like, he went with, start aligning himself with the woman that was aligned with the guy that was constantly attacking his cousin. So that was like some scandalous shit. And it's two bona fide heels coming together. My only issue with WWE on this one is that with these two heels, WWE did not capitalize on, like, okay, let's let these guys mesh. It's like Ted DiBiase, Rick. Let's let these guys actually flow. Let this heel feud. Let this heel. I would say heel chemistry. Let that go ahead and flow. Both of them are devious. They're bad guys. Let that flow. You shouldn't be having them constantly headbutting, and everybody that joined that faction started headbutting. Even when they brought in what's the gentleman's name that ended up being picked up by Seth Rollins' group and whatnot, but I forgot his name. It's gonna come back to me. But they continue to make the heels have an issue with each other, and I'm like, look, the heels got to come. They got an easy goal, which is hate everything or be bad or not follow the rules or be scandalous. So why make these guys feud with each other? Why make them constantly have issues when they're working towards an easy goal, which is make it hard for the face? So W started making it real complicated themselves. They tried to make Garza and him explode with each other. I thought that was ignorant. I thought that was ridiculous. Just like now, they're constantly making these two bump heads, and I'm like, look, let them just work together. Now, the match tonight, I was all for it. I knew it was going to be just a payoff far as, because they did get the best of Street Profits in the feud. So this was going to be the Street Profits proving themselves, overcoming, or just big payoff for them in this particular match. But I'm in agreement with Case on the fact that you got teams that basically have that chemistry, that team chemistry. And since if you didn't want to really do it with Garza and Andrade, then why don't you put a team together? Why don't you let a team that has that chemistry, let them go ahead and have a great feud and a good match with the Street Profits? So I'm in agreement if they were looking at it like that, but I believe in a Garza and Andrade. To me, they have a good look. I think they would be if they would just to literally let this team be the bad guys that they are and stop making it complicated to where they're always butting heads. And I'm like, stop! Why are they butting heads? Stop that! Just let them be bad.
The issue is like once you start having them butt heads, I can no longer believe you're a true team now. That's the issue. That and that's what's getting me. Like that, and that was my initial point was like, once you guys start butting heads, like I can't feel like okay, you really gonna win this match because y'all on one accord. Because and it's even different when like who was it? Was it Cesaro and Sheamus who got together or something off of a feud? They were in a feud together, but they came together for a common goal. Like, it's even a little bit different than that. At least they weren't constantly butting heads. There was always in the back of your mind, will it be an issue? But it wasn't an issue. Once they got together, their common goal was championship goal because that's everybody's common goal, championship goal. So but I don't know why they had Apollo Creed and MVP on the freaking pre-show. That was stupid. The Hurt Business should be on every show ever. The Hurt Business is amazing. I know Casey probably doesn't like it because he doesn't like Lashley. He doesn't like MVP. He's a weirdo. I don't get this man. I don't understand. I'm telling you, man, this man need to come out. He come out.
Hold up.
He lets me know, bro. He lets me know.
White flag. Throw my flag down. Flag on the play. Casey, you don't like the Hurt Business. This is 2.0 BBC club.
Thank you. He didn't like the BDC. He didn't like the BDC. He didn't like the BDC, T-Shine. He didn't like the BDC. He didn't like him.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, is Impact Wrestling's Beat Down Clan. Are you serious, KC?
Beat Down Clan. The man is a destroyer. I remember all of this. Everything.
You talking about All Gold Lashley, Mr. All Gold, the TNA King of the Mountain Championship, the World Championship, the X Division Championship, and he even looked at the women's knockout title. He even looked at it. Lashley did that. Take it, DJ. Take it away, DJ. I'm just gonna pray for a second.
Casey, go ahead. What you got to say? Because I don't get like the best thing going on.
You gotta answer. You gotta answer for himself. You gotta answer for yourself. Hurt Business.
I mean, Lashley to me is boring then, now, and forever.
But that's why you put MVP as his match. If you think he's boring and can't talk, then you put MVP in front of him, and MVP tells me, you know what? This man gonna beat you up. This man gonna work you. That's how it works.
I mean, you could put MVP with him. Doesn't mean I don't think he's still boring.
Dude, look, T-Shine, Lashley had the best run of his career in Impact. Casey said, it was kind of boring. What? What is wrong with this?
Okay. Let me take the gloves off for a second. Look, you talking about the Bobby Lashley that got in Kurt Angle's face and said, Kurt, I'm going to hurt you. And it just sent chills down your body because you knew, he's gonna beat his ass for real. This guy is a real threat. Just like he said, this guy could anally rape you. Like this is a real threat here. Bobby Lashley, when he started becoming in TNA was something awesome. Is what we always want him to become. He became a heel that he was even talking. he was talking shit to people. Like, but he was talking it in a way that I can beat your ass. What you gonna do about it? Like, it was just like, well, you can, can't you, huh? All right. His feud with McIntyre, his feud with EC3. He had a lot of great feuds in Impact Wrestling. But
feud with Austin Aries, match with Jeff Hardy. What's another one? I got another one off the top of my head. I just can't think of it. But
Cowboy James Storm. We can keep going on and
Bobby
on.
Roode. Let's be honest, Bobby Roode. But no, there was too many matches in succession for wrestling fans like Casey. Lord forbid you start a rivalry. Oh no.
But this is what I'm saying. The only thing if Casey was going in this route, I'm with him on the fact of how WWE, how they're booking him. I don't like it. It's ridiculous. But the way they're booking Bobby Lashley is the way, and I hate to get racial with it. That seems to be the way they keep booking all black wrestlers, where eventually there got to be some silly shit. There has to be, I can list down all the silly shit. Street Profits, silly shit. New Day, silly shit. Apollo Crews, silly shit. Truth, silly shit. Bobby Lashley, twerking for you, smacking on his booty, silly shit. They're constantly making black. Who else? Shelton Benjamin, silly shit. They keep doing it. I don't know what it is with these so-called black wrestlers, but they're always doing silly shit. In 2019, literally, Ricochet, everybody was doing goofy stuff for strange.
I think sometimes, there's been some instances where it's worked. And I think the New Day is one of them. They just goofy black guys. And it's amazing. It's hilarious. It's
like R-Truth. I love what R-Truth does. But my thing is, it's when you have the whole roster of this particular catalog here doing silly shit, it's like, well, who's the serious one? Or is anybody a monster? Is anybody like, why is everybody doing silly stuff?
Lashley should be champion right now. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. Lashley should be champion right now. Yes, Casey, I hear you.
I mean, well, I was gonna make 2 points.
Scared.
One, and this is the same with both Lashley and Lesnar. I like their original runs. I didn't like anything after that.
You trying to tell? Wait a minute. Hold up just a doggone minute, Casey. I got to get to your. We got to wait on your second point. I'm gonna press pause real quick. Look, you trying to tell me that this run is not better? Lashley was more boring in his last run than he is now. That's the issue. What the heck did Lashley do before but just beat people up? That's all he did.
He was the WWE CW champion.
That should tell you a lot. That should tell you a lot.
Hey, that's my opinion, okay? And my second point, and this hurts me the most because, listen, I love R-Truth. I love the goofy stuff that R-Truth does. But at the same time, there's a part of me deep in my soul that is aching because I know this man is a former NWA champion. Let that sink in for you. He is
good rebound.
NWA heavyweight champion. I get that WWE doesn't care about anything outside of the realm of WWE, but for God's sake, he is a former NWA champion. At least give him one serious run with the Intercontinental title or something. And like I said, I love the goofy stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's at the same time, come on.
I gotta ask you, Casey, is it because you saw just a taste, even if you didn't see it, for those who watch it, even if you didn't see it in NWA TNA, but is it because you had a little smidgen taste of it when he turned on John Morrison and feuded with John Cena? Was it because of that? Because that was
But the issue was even that was goofy. That's the crazy part.
No, when he turned on when he hit John Morrison with the water bottle and grabbed a cigarette out the crowd and was like, "Come on, now." He
no,
was
I'm talking about the lead up to I'm talking about the lead up to the John Cena match. Okay, I got you.
oh yeah, like that was you was drawing in when R-Truth turned heel. It was so compelling. I was like, "Hey, this is this is something good here." But yeah, we end up getting goofy R-Truth anyway. But
Yeah, it's like it makes me even more upset because he is the only former NWA champion that's been in WWE that they haven't taken seriously in one way or another. Even yes, Ken Shamrock was technically NWA champion after his run in WWE, but they still took him seriously. He wasn't going to be WWE champion or anything, but he was a badass, and they booked him as a badass. AJ Styles, former NWA champion. How many times has he been WWE champion, so far? They're taking him seriously. R-Truth, former NWA champion. Let's put him in a chicken suit or some shit. Yeah, that'll be fun.
I feel that maybe, and I said this on the podcast before, and I'm done with the racial rant. Maybe it's they don't like threatening black guys. Like I believe, and we all some of us are in agreement that W is kind of out of touch on some things. Maybe people blame Vince McMahon for this, but maybe they feel like threatening black guys are just a little too scary for people. So keep a balance of silly shit, and maybe that's it. I don't know, because I'm honestly in a minute, because I noticed how they monitor Hurt Business. Hurt Business, they're not letting Hurt Business get serious like a Nation of Domination. They constantly, because in the beginning of Nation of Domination, they were continuously just badasses for a long time, which went over 2 years. But Hurt Business, I'm noticing that they let them get serious, then get silly, serious, silly. Like they keep it a balance. I'm like, well, I think I understand WWE their system now. They just are not really into threatening black characters. We can have a Randy Orton, a threatening, maniacal, twisted guy, but honestly, I see. This is not me selling out. I see their point of view, because they may feel like that the audience that's more threatening, a threatening black guys. I don't know, but it just, I don't know that for a fact, but it seems kind of sketchy, because when you got 2019, all the people of color were literally silly. They were on silly shit. I was always in silly programs. So it's like, well, why? What are you guys afraid of? Like, do you not like that look of a serious colored person? I don't know. I'm just so for people that's upset with the bookings of a Apollo Crews or Cedric Alexander, that's the best I can tell you. And honestly, we cannot just blame WWE. Actually, that's something that goes on across the board. Look at AEW. There's really not a serious. I'm just putting that out there. It's more programs where it's just not that guy. Like, I don't know. Maybe the wrestling business is not. Maybe they feel like they're not ready. I don't get it.
I think too. I think we gotta be real about things a little bit too. And unfortunately, it's still 2020 until this point. But at the end of the day, the world's kind of like that too. The world doesn't really like successful black people. The world doesn't really like successful people of color, like you said. So it's kind of like WWE in a way is kind of just following suit.
I'm saying like the angry, because it like I get it, even because when we talk about subjects like this, it's kind of sketchy and cringy, but at the same time, I understand it. I get the taste that it leaves in far as WWE or wrestling businesses of that sort. Like, you don't have an angry black character or threatening looking black character, because society looks at black people, as vicious and violent. For some strange reason, we're the most violent. So maybe they're like, we can't make him look that violent and scary. Make him smile. Yeah, let him smile. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, smile a little bit. Yeah. They won't be scared of you. I'm being comical, but I'm sorry. I think that probably answers our curiosity because we're wondering why Bobby is not booked the way. Because like Kay said, why is he not booked? Why he's not a champion already? R-Truth. Why can't we see him serious? I'm starting to put the pieces together. They don't believe in America accepting a threatening black person.
What's the last serious black woman we've had besides
Jazz?
That's it. Even Bianca Belair, it's a little silly right now. She ain't really being Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair is real as it can get. She the closest thing I've ever seen to Jazz. And I mean, I think you can technically say Awesome Calm, but she didn't really get a chance to do anything in WWE, so I don't count that.
What if we look at AEW? Swole, even though she's kind of look goofy, but she's bringing some ratchet flair to it. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I could be pushing it, but yeah, Jazz is the last serious, threatening person I've seen, far as of color with women. Like she was. I was terrified of her. I still am when I see her at the shows. Still am. She's threatening. She got in a fight. Oh no, let me stop.
Well, and token white guy chiming in on the racial discussion. I mean,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad. I didn't. It was out there.
Yeah, like you guys said, like yes, our society does not like in general to see successful black men, black women, and whatever. We love to cash in on them, absolutely. And I'm not saying myself, but like in general, we love rap music, like we love the NBA and all this, this stuff. Like, that's what bothers me is like we're not, I would love to see people of color be successful. That's what I want to see. I want to see everyone have the equal opportunity, whether it's in wrestling, whether it's in business, whatever it is, But it's like, unless you're an athlete or a musician, you can't be successful if you're, a person of color. And back to WWE, it is the issue with the black wrestlers and things like that. But, and DJ and I have talked about this countless numbers of times, it's not just that. It is especially anyone who is Asian at all never taken seriously.
Asuka.
Even Asuka is not real.
Hold up now. I gotta say something on that one. Now, Oscar was hella taken serious in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like she had a very threatening run. Now the only reason why they cashed her out is because of a legit reason, which was Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey is a bigger name. You had to, of course, let her lose to Ronda Rousey. Like that's Ronda fucking Rousey. So I got that. But other than that, I was literally thinking that I was like, man, this little pint-sized, small, maybe 102 pounds woman is really that damn threatening because she in her action. Then she had strong style. She looked really, really threatening in her maneuvers to me. So I bought into it. And they built Oscar up good, especially in NXT. They built up good. Shinsuke Nakamura had a good build, but they just didn't. It's like creative didn't know what to do with him as they go on. It's like, dude, just do something. Do like the creative is what sucks with him. Even though they didn't make him do a lot of silly shit, because this is what I was talking about. I believe America, supports successful people of color. But my thing is, that's why I keep saying my issue is with how America sees threatening black people. If Okay, prime example, and I use this already. If we get a black character, if Bobby Lashley was to be like Randy Orton, was to go out there and just attack people. Look, Randy does some real threatening shit, stalking you at your house and beating your old best friend up and kicking him in the head. That's threatening. If you see a black man doing that in the ring, that's pretty. I can see how it can be a black guy curb stomping somebody. That would look very threatening on TV. Like I know it's not fair, but I think that's where our system is right now. As far as they feel like angry black person, like you're not gonna see Big E go down to the ring and pull a big show on everybody. That's just the closest we ever got to that was when Mark Henry went on the Hall of Pain run, which was a very short lived run. That was when he won the World Heavyweight title from Undertaker. That was pretty much it. You know, he was legit threatening. Like when he told in one promo, he said, if I was walking down the street, you wouldn't even look, but if you look at me cross-eyed, snatch up. Like he was really, really threatening. And that was the last we ever seen of a strong, threatening black character or lead character. But if you look on the other side, there's a lot of strong lead characters. There's Drew McIntyre. I said Randy Orton. I can go Seth Rollins. I mean, I can keep going on and throwing names. Braun Strowman, you know, threatening guys or guys that they'll hurt you and they get out there and they hurt you. But it's just I don't see the same thing in I guess in the colored field. So my thing is, I think the problem is maybe top executives, they don't feel like their product is ready to push something like that. I understand. I'm not angry at them, but I just think that our society has a lot of growing, especially our wrestling community has a lot of growing to do eventually, because it's just what I'm starting to notice, man.
Should we move on to Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville? I gotta trim that one real quick.
Ooh, I like that. That.
Okay. This actually was better than I expected it to be. At first, I thought it was supposed to be a hair versus hair match. I'm assuming they didn't want neither one of them agreed to lose their hair.
She cut her hair.
She cut it, but it was supposed to be like hair versus hair, like Kurt Angle Edge. Like it's supposed to be like that. Because that was the whole premise. Like the cutting of the hair started the whole hair thing. So then they had agreed to a hair versus hair match, but then they made it a loser leaves WWE match, no DQ. Which I had been hearing reports that Sonya Deville was about to leave or step away for a little bit anyway. So I was expecting Sonya Deville not to win this match. This might have been the best Sonya Deville I've seen in my life. She didn't come out punching the air. She didn't come out looking generic. She just came out looking like she could beat you up, and that's about all I asked for from Sonya Deville. Not coming out here looking like, I mean, I know you got MMA background, but still, don't come out here punching the air. No, get out of my face. I'm not a fan. You know, I'm just really not. I'm not a fan of the generic Sonya Deville thing. But I mean, I think even Mandy looked, you know, kind of good in this match. I think she had a couple of snafus, you know, of course, but she doesn't really get in the ring that much. I don't think. I don't feel like she doesn't get in the ring that much. But this match was good. It was aggressive. You know, I think they really. I think this match was surprising to me because I came to this match not expecting too much of it. But the way this feud was built up, the way they let Sonya talk, I think really helped her, even though she's left WWE.
You saying so Sonya's leaving?
Yeah, that was the stipulation. The stipulation of the match was leave WWE. But I had heard a report that Sonya was taking some time away anyway. I think it had something to do with that stalker she had. I think she's got some trauma from that she wants to take some time away anyway. So I mean, I'm hoping that she comes back because this gave me promise for her. Because I ain't seen anything good from Sonya Deville since like Tough Enough, and I don't even know if I saw anything good from her back then either. So like, I haven't been feeling Sonya Deville, but this was the best thing I've seen from her, match wise, and I think in terms of like just building an actual feud. I mean, it's about friggin' time they let her build an actual feud with somebody because she's just been riding somebody's coattails the whole time.
Man, I totally agree with you with Sonya. Like I was not on board with in the beginning. Of course, I was cringy because their whole thing before with her and Mandy was just horrible. But seeing what they've done, like allowed it, or what they've done with Sonya is fucking amazing. She has like her promos are fucking good. She's okay in the ring. She's not spectacular, but she does what she does with who she's with. But I think everything else is on, like the whole kind of this is my best friend. Oh no, that's my lover. Like she was making it like I started really buying into it, and I mean their feud was easy to catch on to because it made you speculate because you knew that um, she's a part of the LGBT community. But it was like, okay, so are they going to go there? Like it kept you intrigued as far as where they're going with this. Are they going to make it a relationship thing? She's going to stop. Like it kept going there. But this in this particular match tonight, um, I'm a little sad now to know that she may be officially gone because I'm like, yo, she was on fire. Like her everything about her from the last few weeks was just gold. I was like, yo, all right, I can see her getting ready to be in a position for a title shot pretty soon because she literally she's giving me sights of flair when it comes to her in ring presence, as far as mic game, presentation and talking. Like she's on it. Now I'm not saying she's a performer like Flair. I'm saying her I guess her aura, especially when it comes to talking and speaking and telling the storyline and carrying the storyline, she's good at that. So, but having her leave right now, I guess it's personal reasons. So, but as selfishly as a fan, I'm sad. And I'm like, yo, I was legitimately, especially when she came out there with the suit on, on SmackDown, I was kind of like, all right, where's she going with this one? Like, she started really growing on me. And now I'm like, okay. But tonight's match, it was a good match. Mandy is like the commentator said. Mandy showed out. Mandy stepped up and surprised me. Um, that was I mean, that was a lot of different ways I thought they was gonna go with it, and they actually went with the ways I was thinking they're gonna go with, which was awesome because the match was the best match I've seen Mandy and Sonya in I've ever seen them in. Case.
I mean, I can't say too much about this match because I haven't been paying attention to Raw and SmackDown enough to really know what's going on in this feud. And part of it is because I've never really cared about either of them, especially Sonya Deville. And I think my kind of I don't want to be too harsh and use the word disdain, but yeah, my disdain for her was not even her fault. It was just more that I feel like she came in around that time where like everybody was, former MMA, and it was like it was too much. Like we had her, it was around the time that like Shayna Baszler had come in. We were gonna get so many different like people. Riddle was former
Jasmine
MMA.
Briggs, and all everybody who came with her basically.
Yeah, and it was like, oh my god, like too much. And then they gave her the gimmick of MMA, and it's like, I think I looked up her MMA like career or career, and from what I remember, she had like a handful of matches, and I think won one. So I was like, you're gonna book her as an MMA fighter with that, like come on now. At least if you're gonna book somebody as like they legit did this, make it like make sure they had a good career.
Yeah, the legit badass MMA
Yeah,
role.
yeah,
Man, you're so right. You're
like
so
if you
right.
had 5 matches and lost 4, you probably shouldn't be booked as an MMA fighter. Just saying. Unless you're being booked as a terrible MMA fighter, then okay. But I don't know. From what I saw, the match it wasn't bad. The one big pet peeve I had was that they set up the table and then like did everything else around the table and didn't do anything with the table, and I was like, why? Why would you go to the trouble of setting up a table and then literally do nothing with it? Like not one thing, not a little itty bitty thing, nothing. And then I don't know if this bothered you guys, but there was like I felt like 3 in a row, either no disqualification or something similar matches like in a row, and I was like, okay, that's enough. We don't need a street fight. We don't need a no disqualification match. We don't need a no holds barred match. All one after the other. It felt like, but other than that, it was all right.
And the issue is they're all the same.
Exactly.
They're all street fight, not in the street. No, we just don't. Anyway, what was it I wanted to mention real quick. Because I do want to talk about the women's matches that we had. Not the one we just passed, but of course the ones involving Asuka and the Golden Role Models. But first, Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Good build, terrible result. That is all. I mean, the build was great, but once again, and this is just me, like I don't know what it is about me and roll-ups, backslides, leverage pins. They just do not come. They don't come off strong to me, especially when you're freaking Drew McIntyre. The man is huge. He don't need to do a leverage pin.
Hold no. We're gonna talk about the truth about this. This man got rolled up by Chavo Guerrero in a video game. And
I'm still sick to this day.
One time he got rolled up.
It just, for me, like the lovable underdog gets it, like the person who can't beat the other person. But like Drew's this big freaking burly looking dude who's running through everybody, and then he's got a backslide Randy Orton. He's got to catch him by surprise. And it's just not my finish. Not my personal preference for a finish. I get it that in a way it protects everybody, right? It keeps Drew as champion. It protects Randy because did he really get beat? Did he really get beat clean? Blah blah blah. But still, like it's like it comes off like I don't know what to do. Let me do this finish here, and then we'll come back to this because Randy's obviously going to win the title. It's going to happen. But you also don't want to make Drew look like a transitional champion, which is what he's looking like right now.
That match was it had potential. I mean, it was a good match. It was a decent match, but the roll up, I'm in agreement with everybody because I've been seeing other folks post this and talk about, like I was in one group and they were just going ham about the roll up. And DJ, you broke it down perfectly. Of course, it should have never went. Like, why is Drew McIntyre using a roll up pin on Randy Orton? Was he having that much trouble? I mean, is he an underdog? Like, it just was. It was weird. Then it's the champion. The champion sets the tone for the match. He's not a heel. He's not an underdog. This was not traditional. Of course, it was not a traditional way of winning, especially for a champion, especially a face champion, to be exact. So they fucked it up for me for a title match. Like, this was the WWE World Heavyweight Title match, and they dropped the ball with the finish. That was, I think they know that. I was expecting maybe something about to happen after the match, because usually if that ever happens, something happens. Something serious pops off. Somebody usually cashes in, or something weird happens, or retribution would have came out. I mean,
But you got Otis as Mr. Money in the Bank, so nobody can cash in. Sorry.
What I'm saying is, now I'm just throwing. I'm saying, like, in the past, like, usually something out the way would happen. Maybe
that was for Casey. That's all that was. That was just a shot at Casey, because Otis is Mr. Money in the Bank. He's obviously not going to win the title. But sorry.
But my thing is, if they was gonna do that, I would have just recommended Retribution come in and start whooping. Because for one, give Drew McIntyre something to fucking do. After this, have Retribution come out and start attacking and what like that, and they raise questions. Is Randy Orton Retribution? Like, do something. But hey, this is WWE. This is their company. But bottom line, the match was cool until the end, which was like. Which is, from what I'm seeing unanimously across all the wrestling groups, it was like WTF. What?
They've messed up something too, T-Shawn, real quick before we get into Casey's point. They've messed up something. WWE has really screwed themselves and shot themselves in the foot by doing this in the past. Because now you got to be consistent with it. When somebody gets knocked out, the person who knocked them out wins the match. All they had to do, Randy Orton's been punt kicking, easy for me to say, everybody in his wake. All he had to do was punt kick Drew McIntyre, and they throw the match out. Drew McIntyre still stays strong. But they can't do that because they would either have to throw the match out or like in a disqualification way. But isn't it a legal move? Technically, no, because he's already used it in previous matches. Now, another thing is he could punt kick him, knock him out, and then they could just say he couldn't continue in the match. Doesn't mean he loses the match. He just can't continue in the match. I think they've shot themselves in the foot a little bit with that.
This though, I got to give you your flowers on this one. Check this out. Am I not mistaken? Payback is what? Next week?
For some reason.
Yeah, they're doing a special next week. So my thing is, I'm like, well, what you're saying makes perfect sense. Have Randy Orton get disqualified in that match. Do something to mess that match up, because he was getting countered every time with Drew McIntyre. So have him do something ruthless and let Drew McIntyre get payback. Thus the freaking name. That would have been smart for this one. But I'm in agreement with you.
Casey, how you feel about Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton? I mean, am I wrong?
I mean, first of all, if you go with the knockout, technically, if you go into like the official pro wrestling rules, he would still lose the title on a knockout.
There used to be something where, like, if you couldn't continue, it was a heel way to win, right? Like, you got your freaking butt kicked.
I would have seen it if you were talking about a legal move, an illegal move or whatever like that, the usage of a move. Because at one point certain moves was banned, or a legal blow, like a low blow or something like that.
Yeah.
But now he knocking him out. I was thinking, when I was agreeing with you, I was thinking when the curve stops like that was banned. I kind of forgot that I got it mixed up. That's the punt kick. Well, the punt kick was banned at 1.2. It was. I forget. Well, that was banned.
Well, my thing is too. When they say one fall, they mean 10 or submission. So you can't lose the title off of a count out. You can't lose the title off of a count out. So you technically can't lose the title off of being knocked out. Because if it's a match for one fall, knockout is not one fall.
The knockout would be technically the same as tapping. You can't continue. Yeah.
I could have swore there was a time where they didn't lose.
Casey's right. Casey's right. I thought I kind of tread light on that, but Casey's right. Yeah. Now the knockout that's a win. That's like it's like in MMA or boxing. You get knocked out, you cannot you it's over with. Or it was been the same as like if say for instance Drew McIntyre he hurt his leg and he couldn't continue, he would have had to forfeit the title. You can't compete.
I just could have swore that I've seen heels pull that off. I've seen them get hurt in a match and use it not to even win the match. Just use it not to continue. Not that Drew's a heel. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, WWE sometimes uses the kayfabe like real injury storyline, and in that case, they can use that because you notice a lot of times in storylines now, when somebody gets seriously injured, when it's still kayfabe, they'll throw up the X.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess what DJ is trying to say, like a no contest type of situation.
Yeah.
I guess is you can't really follow WWE's rules on that one because they have fucked up a lot of stuff as far as traditional wrestling wise. But they would have
and thing, WWE isn't pro wrestling. WWE is entertainment. So you can't really go by pro wrestling rules in WWE anymore.
And they change the rules all the time. They used to raise the arm 3 times. I don't know why they only raise it 1 time now.
Well, I'm gonna say this: when it comes to the big league wrestling, pro wrestling, or as I call it, the big leagues, you have to compromise on some. You have to bend some of the rules of traditional, like with my indie promotion. You gotta bend. I can understand a bigger show because now you're dealing with televised, something that's being broadcast, and the cast with audience they might not understand, smaller league lingo or traditional lingo, as far as with wrestling. They might not understand. Oh, hold the rope. They might have, like prime example. Some about AEW people was complaining or making fun of the fact that most of the wrestlers were not traditionally holding the ropes. They would just jump in the ring, and they were not obeying the counts. A guy said this on AEW programming. He pointed his eye. I forget what it was. I should took notes. He pointed something out, which was if you are a wrestler or if you're in the business, you know that he was literally blatantly it out like, hey, you don't do that. Like, for television, a lot of times bigger promotions they have to stretch it a little because you have viewers, you have commercials, a lot of different you have things that the average traditional rules would not really look proper with, or you have to further on a storyline, and so they compromise and change it up just a little bit, where they might jump back and then enforce that rule one day down the line, but they just kind of just mix it up a little bit, make it look presentable or to their benefit. So that happens a lot. So I don't. So me personally, in that long run, I say this: I don't necessarily kick WWE out as say that they're not pro wrestling. I say they are the big leagues because therefore, with the big leagues, you got more at stake. This is bigger money on the line. It's just like traditionally, it's like regular basketball games versus the NBA basketball. They may change up rules. They change up shit. So I can't say that this ain't basketball. So my thing is, it's just that they got to compromise. They making bigger bucks with this.
Well, and I'm sure we could have a whole entire separate discussion on like WWE versus pro wrestling, because there are so many different things that just don't make sense coming from working on the indies or being trained at wrestling school that they're going to teach you. One of my kind of biggest pet peeves, and then we can move on. But when wrestlers intimidate the ref, that I never understood that, because the ref is literally the authority in the match, in any match. So why would you logically intimidate a referee or threaten a referee who could disqualify you, who could throw the match out, you know. And again, there's a lot of other things that don't make sense, but then promotions like WWE will bend this rule or bend that rule to make it make sense, even though it really doesn't. But what are we gonna say? We're just small fish in a big pond, and WWE is the giant shark. So whether it makes sense or not, they're still gonna do it because they can. But again, that goes towards indie wrestling and professional wrestling are completely different from what WWE is. WWE is a completely different animal. Um, Vince said it perfectly. They make movies. They don't make pro wrestling. They make movies. They make entertainment. That's why they won't consider themselves a wrestling company anymore, even though the second W in WWE literally stands for wrestling. But people forget that.
World Entertainment. Okay.
World Blank Entertainment.
Let's see what we got. Hold up. Wreck everyone and leave. Wreck everyone and leave.
He's back. He's back. He is back in a awesome way, in a super awesome way. Today we all witnessed Roman Reigns return, but he returned with a chip on his shoulder. He was talking to himself and talking to his victims, which is kind of weird to say victims because you have a half almost 7-foot giant laying in a wake and a lunatic with a mask on that's split personality, Mr. Rogers and some other type shit together, and he's hurt. Roman Reigns came back and destroyed Fiend and Bray Wyatt, but in a heelish fashion, to where he was just talking like, "What's wrong with you guys? Huh? I'll kick your butt." Like he was just talking so much shit. I'm being PG, but he was talking so much trash to them that I was like, "Are we getting what I think we getting? Is this shades of FCW Roman Reigns? Is this happening?" I mean, now, and I say this, and I say because I said this before. I said Roman Reigns turned heel again. This will be again because he once was heel when he came in with, of course, the Shield. He was a bad guy, but he wasn't a vocal bad guy. So now Roman Reigns returned, and he's being completely reckless, which is kind of an awkward situation here because we were just getting, and DJ, you said it, we were just getting a full formed, Braun Strowman heel. We know that the Fiend is supposed to be heel. So what the hell is going on? I was like, okay, what? What's happening here? Are we what? I don't get it. So where does this fit in at? Because apparently now Roman Reigns is finna be in the hunt for the Universal Championship title, which Roman Reigns never he never got his title shot against Bill Goldberg that they had gotten, and so it's he's a twisted lunatic chip on his shoulder, but it's like we're going with this one here. So are we gonna go? Well, I'm gonna slow down and give it to you, DJ.
In terms of that, I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see what they're gonna do with it. I hope they let him actually talk more, like, because like a lot of the talking I think we've seen from Roman is like, all right, point one, I'm the big dog. All right, point two, like that's what we're getting. We're getting very scripted Roman Reigns, and I think when Roman Reigns is able to just kind of and he don't even got to like Casey and I talked about it before, like One of his best promos when he came out said, "This is my yard now." Dropped the mic and walked out. like he ain't gotta talk much. He just gotta do enough. But yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued. I'm always intrigued with Roman to see what's gonna happen because I personally like Roman. Should we get to the women's matches, or Casey, do you have anything else to say about that on that topic?
No.
All right.
Hey, what you mean you ain't got much? Look here. I got a boatload of conspiracies with this one. I mean, but let's go ahead and let's finish the match.
Of course we did. We had the Fiend and Braun Strowman. That was the main event. We didn't really talk about that match when we brought this up earlier, which was good. I definitely thought it was good. Braun tearing up the ring and cutting up everything and like exposing the thing just to have it used on him, which is typically how it works. Was funny and having Bray just continue, or the Fiend continue to just Sister Abigail him. I was surprised that Alexa Bliss was not involved at all in this, because she was such a big part of this over the past couple of weeks, and she wasn't involved at all. I got a feeling. I feel like they're gonna do something with her and join her with the Fiend. Like they may even like dye her hair or something. Like they're gonna make her darker, I think, because she's connected, and it's not to Braun, because Braun has already kind of cut her off. So I mean, I hope they do something with her because she's kind of just been around lately, and I'm not used to her just being around. Like I'm used to her doing something worth something, like winning titles and stuff. But, y'all got any more thoughts on the Fiend, Braun, Alexa?
Well,
What I wanted to say was my thing about this match is that it opens up a lot of doors for speculation. Because right now, I got to get back to it from the beginning of the show. I brought it in with talking about conspiracies. There are some heavy similarities, or some questions that people are kind of wondering right now, which I was wondering just as well. Roman Reigns returns, and now he's returning. It's not kind of the tweener to where he's like, "This is my yard, y'all," and that's it. It's on a he's a little, because I listened to the words he was saying. It's kind of it's snappish. He's exaggerating some things. I'm like, that's heelish. That's what heels do. How dare you? What y'all doing? This is my bill. What you doing? Like he's clicking out. So this is bona fide number one clues to, he's healed. Like, he's a bad guy now because he's talking reckless right now, which he doesn't have a legit gripe. He technically doesn't, because he wasn't able to make the show. So how are you gonna spin this? Only a heel can spin this like this. Can cut up. I'm pretty sure later on he's gonna cut a promo talking hella trash. But also all the symbols that kind of point to it, which we look at, the T-shirt, wreck everyone and leave. That's what Retribution's been doing on running roughshod on all the shows, wrecking everyone, then they just leave just randomly, and they put the symbolism is of a W, and I'm like, hold up, what's going on? Then you look at his T-shirt, I'm like, okay, something's going on here. Maybe I can, but you say, well, what purpose would that serve? Well, it serves a valid purpose. Retribution. You know what the definition of retribution is? For some reason, Roman Reigns feels like he's been done wrong. With retribution, when there's injustice or something that's happened that's been done wrong, you come back, you want retribution. He's coming back like he wants what? Retribution. So it's like something triggered him. So this could be a part of his antics. This could have a great deal, something to do with it. It opens up a lot of doors for this massive attack. He feels like he's been done wrong. So he's orchestrated some goons to take over the show, and that's what they're doing. And he said that he was saying in the ring, "Y'all, it's my show. Y'all like, he's I run this. What are you doing? Like, how dare you?" Like, he's going off. So I'm like, we may have something here. There may be something here as a lot of angles that can be ran out of this one. But you say, well, hold on, the Fiend is heel. Braun Strowman's heel. Well, the Fiend and Braun Strowman were also once group members, group mates. So this can bring the Fiend and Braun Strowman together. Now, which makes it great for a good storyline. They don't like each other. The Fiend does not cooperate with. He's never cooperated with anybody. Doesn't work with anybody. Braun Strowman has been Bray Wyatt took Braun Strowman to another place. So it's like, can they coincide? It's gonna be a Brothers of Destruction type of relationship. I know that's stretching it, but it's a Brothers of Destruction type of relationship to where they're going to run. Just imagine Fiend in the ring, Braun Strowman in the ring, and they're beating the shit out of all the Retribution members. They're laying them out because remember, Retribution, they got a hold of Braun, but Fiend vanished. So I can just just imagine Braun is in the ring, Retribution is right there surrounding him, and all of a sudden, lights cut off. Fiend is in the ring with him. This storyline gets way better. Roman Reigns is commanding Retribution. This is gold here. So WWE, y'all got some gold right here. This can make anybody excited right now because this gives us a hold of the ball game, and it builds character to Fiend, it builds character to Braun Strowman, and it opens up a whole other door for Roman Reigns. So if this is what they're doing, Vince McMahon, call me. I need to congratulate you, and I need to give you your flowers right now. Ha! Good job. But that's my conspiracy theory rant on Vince McMahon's bringing back Roman Reigns into this angle of sorts.
I don't know. That's hard because on one hand, I think it would be interesting to see Roman as the leader, almost like the figurehead of Retribution.
It's right there. It's right. I'm just saying, WWE. It's right there. It's right. The story is right there.
I mean,
it's not hard, guys. Just
when it's right there in front of him,
but like with the way that he kind of felt when he came back, I don't see him being with a group. I see him kind of being by himself. Like, this is my time. Like, I'm gonna get my retribution, not I'm gonna get our retribution. And if he is the leader, who are they gonna have in this faction, and how do they connect with one another?
New. Everybody knew, because like I'm saying, it kind of flows perfectly. It's all about his retribution. New talent are gonna go with him anyway, regardless. I mean, all that he's doing, he just pointing them out. If you notice, retribution it's like they've been sent down to attack people. It's not. Prime example. Use the Nexus, example of the Nexus, and example of retribution, or example of Roman Reigns' old group. All of them, the way they attack was different. Retribution attacks, it seems like somebody commanded them to go do it. The mannerism of hitting the ring is not of, oh, they just came together and they're tired of some shit. Nexus had a legit formation and plan. They methodically picked out how they was doing things, and you could see it. The same as the Shield, but Retribution, it seems as though it's like they've been told to go attack the back room area. They've been told, like, and they're being deliberately placed in certain places. So that is signs of somebody's orchestrating them. So that person's orchestrating them must got a gripe against the fucking system. Whether it's CM Punk or it has to be Roman Reigns. It's somebody that's pointing them out. All right, get them. Like, why would somebody be telling them to get them? It's somebody that got a gripe against the WWE. Because if you look at the message of Richard Retribution, they're talking. Once again, the name is Retribution. What new folks have had? Because we ruled out Apollo, we ruled out all the mother folks because the people that they was pointing out it could be, but it's not, because they was out in the ring or something like that. It was all caught up. And so it's like, well, it got to be somebody that has a legit gripe. And right now, Roman Reigns feels like he has which he doesn't really, like I said, he doesn't really have a grit to but it's kind of he's entitled. He's pissed off out of nowhere. So he feels like he's been done wrong. If you listen to what he said in the audio, he's whining like he was like somebody stole his bike. And that sounds like retribution. He wants retribution. So that's why I'm like, the storyline is right. Is right. If WWE somehow misses this and they don't, I'm shocked. But I don't. It's literally right there in your face. It's there.
We've seen crazier things not happen when we thought they would.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. And I will say this, and I'm gonna shut up. My thing is, do not have your hopes high with WWE. They have it, just like DJ just said. They have that infamous way of just fucking up a storyline. Just, you know what? Smoke, stop some coke. Oh yeah, just yeah. Throw water on it. What? Yeah, just mess it up. Like, why are you doing that? So they have their way of doing ridiculous shit with simple angles, but they're the boss league.
Well, speaking of, things that we didn't think would happen, that sometimes do happen. And this goes back to something that DJ said a little bit earlier that kind of, hit me in the feels. It was a while back. There was a certain WWE superstar that wasn't really being taken seriously. We didn't think he was going to amount to anything. We just kind of thought he was going to be a jobber. And then he won the WWE Championship, and DJ and I agreed that we thought it was a great title run. That man's name was Jinder Mahal. My boy Titus could be the next, or my not Titus. My boy Otis could be the next Jinder Mahal. Could happen, bruh. That man, he could.
So hold on. So hold up. You're saying Otis could be in Jinder Mahal's spot like he once was?
If they book it right, I could see it happening. I think, again, because like I said, back then we didn't think they were going to do anything with Jinder Mahal. We thought, he was going to come back in and just job and, maybe, do the whole 3MB thing again. Like, we didn't think anything was going to happen. And
well,
then
I used to have high hopes for Jinder Mahal in the beginning. Some of the old programming or podcasts you probably hear me talking about before they did the Jinder Mahal run. I was like, yo, this guy is, but when he came back, all souped up and delicious looking for Vince McMahon, you know how Vince McMahon likes it. He likes his, like my beef man, beefy. When he came, I said, oh shit, they finna push him. I know they finna push him now. And when he came back like that and they pushed him, I was like, perfect. I mean, some people didn't like it, but I was a big, just like how I was a big fan of that. I was like, yo, Jinder has the look, and if you want to heal, he looks heelish. He can't look friendly if he wanted to. Jinder just looks fucking evil as hell. So I was like, this is great, and now when he came back, I was pretty bummed out. Like recently, in 2019 when he came back, I was pretty bummed out that they wasn't really doing anything with him. I was kind of like, come on, man, this is Jinder, but I kind of understand it. Far as that, they didn't go over to. Well, he came back kind of late in the game. They went over there in the Saudi Arabia doing Olympics anymore, but that was part of his winning. But now Otis, funny you talked about Otis, and I said this before on Wrestle Chat. I'm a big fan of Otis now. Otis brings back that Federation era of wrestling to me, like the characters. He's at first I didn't like him. It's like the whole Mandy and so whatever her name is, Sonya situation. I was rejecting the story or just the character. But Otis has grown on me. He's a real deal character. Mandy, but I can see it getting dark, or I can see him because he starts showing shades of being a heel as well. Because like when he was teasing like he was gonna cash it in, it was signs of him not just being a silly goofy, but being silly, goofy, and heelish. I was like, okay, this guy has something, and he has character, a ton of character, like we've seen in the golden era of the Federation era of wrestling. So I'm like, I like that part of him. And him cashing in, I'm perfectly, completely on board for him cashing in that case. Because tonight would have been, well, one thing that's perfect about his character is that somehow he remains under the radar. Like it's completely silent. Like you forget all about him. Like tonight, I legitimately, if he would have never came out there to pick up Mandy, I would have forgot about him. I would have completely forgot about him. I was like, oh shit. Oh, he got the case. And he brought the case out there with him. I said, oh yeah. I said, oh shit. He could cash it in tonight. Ooh. I just clicked in my head. And I was like, yo, I can see that happening tonight. But you can completely forget about him. It's not like a Seth Rollins having the case. You're gonna continue to be looking for Seth Rollins or the Miz every goddamn way. But you completely forget Otis is out there. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Otis right now. Glad you mentioned that.
So you're saying he's forgettable? Okay, moving on.
He is. He is. He's very. I mean, I'm saying like somehow he's able to hide up on the star, but when he's there, he's a star. He's a star when he's performing in front of you because he's a captivating character. Like he's a polarizing type of guy. But it's just that it's like they do. I don't know if it's just them doing it, but they do a good job at kind of keeping him, out the way. Then when he comes back, he's like, oh, he got the case. Oh, Otis, Caterpillar guy.
Caterpillar, yeah. Okay. I think the last thing that we haven't touched on was just the Asuka, her little things that she, her going up against Bayley to begin the night, winning that match with Sasha's help. And then it was interesting because Sasha and Bayley cut a promo, and you could tell that Bayley wasn't going to help Sasha out. You could just tell it. Like, you could tell it just wasn't going to be the same. And she really didn't in that second match. She did a little bit, but nothing like Sasha won her that title. And then, Bayley just really didn't even help at all. And then Sasha loses again. And I'm like, why? Like, I don't know what it is about Sasha and 2-day runs or week-long runs or whatever, however long she had the title, about 2 weeks now. But it's ridiculous. I mean, Sasha's better than Bayley. That's the issue. Sasha's better than Bayley, and she still can't get a good run. Why? I don't understand how she is the best out of all the Force Horror women. The Force Horror women? Wow, that's not what I wanted to say. The Four Horse.
What did you just call them?
Okay, the Four Horse women. Can't pronounce things today. She is the best out of all four of them, and they had a serious run ever since NXT. What the heck is wrong? I don't understand. Number one, Bayley's had the title forever. I know they're going to it's going to culminate to Bayley and Sasha probably going at it, maybe even at Survivor Series. But every time Sasha wins the title, my thought process is, well, she won't keep it that long. That's my thoughts. I love Sasha. I think she's great. Her match with Asuka tonight was good, but the match they had on Raw where she won the title was incredible.
That's the same with me and Bray. Anytime he wins the title, I'm like, oh, he's gonna lose it tomorrow.
Where's Goldberg? I mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Sasha's amazing. That's the funny part. Sasha and Bray both are ridiculously talented and are scraping the bottom of the barrel all the time.
I think it the is it Payback this next week?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Aren't they defending the tag team titles?
Mhm.
Yeah, I part of me thinks that they're gonna lose the titles, and somehow I think the way that they would do it, if they do it, is Bailey somehow causes them to lose, but she blames it on Sasha because Bailey's the heel right now, and they have Sasha be the face and Bailey be the heel because traditionally it's always Sasha who's the heel and Bailey who's the baby. Um, so I think they'll do that, and then, like you said, maybe build it up to Survivor Series. You know, if they can build it that long, because WWE isn't really good at building long feuds all the time.
I would go almost a little different in that direction. I kind of feel that. Well, I wasn't first off, I wasn't a big fan of the finish tonight. I wasn't a big fan of that at all because of the way I just I, I'm in agreement um with DJ on this one. I'm tired of the boss all the way. Like she just can't keep it for some strange reason. I'm not understanding it. Like she is gold. Um, and I kind of saw it coming. The whole they was gonna let. And my biggest problem with tonight's match was commentary. Shut the fuck up. Stop pointing it out. Stop doing that commentary. Some shit commentary just fucks up on. Stop pointing out what may happen and what's going like that should it wasn't really a surprise because commentary kept throwing it in your face. Hey Baylor, you're gonna help her. She's not supposed to help her. They're heels, right? So and they're doing something illegal far as within the ring. You don't make it obvious. It's like acting a dope dealer when he got out of jail. So you gonna sell drugs? Are you gonna sell drugs? Like he gonna tell you in public, like, yeah, I'm gonna sell some drugs. Like, no. They kept asking him, even the interview was asking, so Baylor, you're gonna be in Sasha? Are you gonna help her? Like, stop asking her that. She's not supposed to say yes. So commentary just kept. I don't know if it bothered y'all, but they just kept throwing it out there. So this is basically gonna be right there with this Josh. I'm like, shut up. You're supposed to say that, like, or at least throw it up that much to where it's now obvious that now all we're looking for is Bayley. Don't help her. Like, don't help. Like, we're constantly looking for that. But it happened somehow. Asuka, the one-legged woman, was able to beat this phenomenal superstar Sasha. I wasn't a real big fan of the finish, just the match in general. I felt they both should have continued, but on the brighter side, going into Payback, I think Payback makes sense to me like this. Asuka beat Sasha tonight. And the way they're trying to show it, which they did a piss poor job at showing the execution of Sasha Bayley being deceitful. Really, if you look at it, Bayley didn't do anything deceitful to me because she got on the rope, created the distraction. She tried to create a distraction, which was like what she's supposed to do. And they tried to point at the commentary was like, "Hey, she didn't take the bump. She didn't take the hit." I'm like, "What? What's this?" If she would have took the hit, what sense would that have made? Like she would have got then if she would have took the hit. I don't know if y'all heard that shit, but if Bayley would have took the hit from Asuka, then she would have got taken out the game. She wouldn't have been able to do anything then. So commentary was sounding stupid tonight. So I'm like, what are you guys trying to point out? They was trying to build up that Bayley did something bad, but Bayley had moved out the way, and then Asuka had countered her and kicked her. So she took Bayley out the game right there. So Bayley necessarily didn't do anything deceitful. She just didn't make it back in the ring in time. Like it's like she didn't show that much effort to get back in at one point counter, which the camera didn't really just hone in on, which they probably should have did a better job of doing it. That we didn't get all the Bayley just stalling. But at the same time, I would say this. I get it. So Sasha don't got the belt no more. Cool. All right. So if we're going into Payback, what I'm expecting is Sasha to cause them to lose. Sasha's going to cause them to lose because who's going to face Bayley for the title? Sasha's going to come out eventually on SmackDown and get in Bayley's face, and then feud for her title. Since Sasha's going to blame Bayley for losing her championship, Sasha's going to be the one to be the reason why Bayley loses hers, and it's going to be to her. So that makes a beautiful storyline to me that Sasha's going to risk them losing their tag team title because Sasha don't want to be she don't want to be with her no more. She don't want to be a partner of hers no more. So she's going to deliberately let Bayley get pinned in that match. Bayley's going to get beat, and that's it. So it's like Bayley's going, yeah, what, why did you help me out? Sasha hits her. Next thing you know, Sasha's in a feud with her. That makes perfect sense, and WWE's going in that direction. So I like that. But I don't know, stuff that's too easy, that's right there in WWE's face, they don't usually go for it. We getting high hopes is not a good thing. So
this is what I don't understand though, too, is if they were just gonna do this anyway, why didn't they just let Sasha have her win? So remember when Bayley they did the little switcheroo or whatever, where Bayley threw the belt in and then Sasha hit her with the belt and won the title, and Bayley put the referee shirt on and counted the pin. Just let her have that as her run then, instead of having another actual match, letting her win the actual title, and then having Asuka win it right back. Just have Asuka win it back, still on SummerSlam, but Sasha's carrying it like she actually owns it. That's what I don't understand. Why did they go through the trouble of having a real match for Sasha to actually win the title, just to have Sasha to lose the title a couple weeks later?
Or I follow you. My thing is, I look at all of this simply. Well, why don't they just let Bayley attack Sasha, and then Bayley say, "Hey, I was helping you win," because of course they're gonna count it's gonna be a win for Asuka, but at the same time, it's gonna keep Sasha with the title. So since everybody kept pointing out, this is the thing, everybody kept pointing out, Bayley's in your corner. Is Bayley gonna help? Bayley gonna help? Well, no, okay. And there has been that. Can she trust Bayley? I don't know why they keep doing it, but they keep advertising. Can she trust Bayley? Can she trust Bayley? And then have Bayley literally, legitimately hit her, knock her ass out, and Sasha be out or whatever like that. And everybody's like, oh, she turned on her. But then again, you realize like, oh, Asuka doesn't get the title. She just got, that's a disqualification. And then Sasha looking at her all Bayley crazy, had her stare down, and she's like, we're friends. I helped you. And it's not it's that, okay, what the fuck? Then have them break up at the Payback or something like that. I mean, there's all types of ways, creative ways to do this, but we got what we got tonight.
Yeah. Well, I think we've hit everything we needed to hit. I think, but nonetheless, definitely.
Wait, what
we missed?
So we're not going to talk about Dominic.
Oh yeah.
We're not going to talk.
Yeah, that's right. We've been on this for a long time. Look, Dominic Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. One thing I gotta say, not as good as Pat McAfee's debut. Just saying, pretty good though. Not gonna lie, pretty good. I'm not gonna act like it was good. No, I'm just saying Pat McAfee, outclassed Dominic. I'm sorry, Dominic. I just gotta say that. Pat McAfee out here killing it. Dominic did good though. I liked it. I didn't understand like Ray's wife and like why they're so weird together. Like they had the most awkward exchange I've ever seen before Ray went out to the ring. I'm like, why?
I know what he's talking about. I know exactly what he's talking about. It was in my head. I was like shit. Okay, prime example. And I don't know if you're in agreement on this one, but
and I know you know it, but still.
when Dominic was getting when he was getting beat up or they were kind of doing a number on him, and Ray's no, trying to, no, telling her, no, 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 don't come out here, don't come out here, and she's constantly doing that. Or no, she wouldn't even just being aggressive, but she's just being, she's just doing it, and I'm like, just say, hey, they're beating our son up. Turn Ray around. But she was a distraction to Ray, right? But then shortly, Ray, I guess Ray turned around. The camera went up, so we didn't get that camera angle to see that. But I guess eventually Ray got her out the way and went down to help Dominic. But I gotta say,
she also stood on the ramp, just stood there, like, and watched her son get beat up. I'm like, not that I expect her to get involved, but typically you're like, oh my goodness, that's my son. I gotta go see. I gotta figure out what I do.
But that honestly, if I would have, I refrained from doing podcasts and talking about this angle. I was when I was we was about to do one early this week, and I was gonna completely shit on this particular feud. I was saying that this was the most pointless and stupidest feud out of all of them. I was really gonna tear this feud a new hole. But tonight, the feud, the match, I'm a fan of it. I was very critical about this particular feud, this angle. I was very critical of it, and because it was cheesy, it was corny, and I was like, man, get this shit out of my way. Get this shit out of my way. But Dominic Mysterio, this was a good match because Seth Rollins was a good match. It made sense. He wasn't horrible in the ring. He held his own. The only part that was corny to me was the whole hoodie, and I'm like, dude, why couldn't you, like, you could have got your wardrobe better than that? Like,
I like the hoodie, but I was thinking next time he's either gonna have like a tear off hoodie or like not have the hood on there, because I know he was annoyed with that hood popping up every time.
I felt like I was watching Manic all over again.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot he had that little hood on. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was enjoyable. I don't like this feud. I don't understand the Monday Night Messiah. It's almost too much for me. The eye for an eye thing is just, it's too out there for me right now. And I just don't like it. They're trying too hard to make me believe and get invested, and it's not working.
He's gonna puke.
Which they never also I don't think they ever explained why he puked out after that. Why he showed remorse, even though he hasn't shown remorse for anything else. And then my other question was, before Casey gives his thoughts on this, was how in the world, somebody explain to me, how in the world is Murphy just out here trying to take people's eyes out now? Like, before he was like, can't do that. Nope, I'm Murphy. Can't. Nope, I'm not Seth. Not gonna do it. He did it one time to Aleister Black, who I guess they killed. One time to Aleister Black, and that was it. Didn't Aleister get thrown off the roof of the Money in the Bank too? Like, they just be trying to kill these people.
Aleister and Rey Mysterio got thrown off. Both
of them just didn't have some rough times this year. Like, Casey, what you think of Dominic Mysterio's debut?
I mean, I loved it. I think that WWE had two really good debuts 2 nights in a row. And when I say debuts, I mean like legit debuts, not, guys that worked on the indies or guys that worked in another promotion and came here. I mean legitimate debuts. And either one of them, like I said about Pat McAfee last night too, if he legit wanted to, do this and try to be a WWE superstar, I would be 100% behind it, because he was really good in that match. I mean, granted, yes, he was in the ring with Adam Cole, one of the best, professional wrestlers in the world right now. So that helps a lot. But you could tell he had the athleticism, he had the talent, he had the charisma, and you could tell he's been training. Same with Dominic. you could tell he's been training. You could tell he has, the gift. There were a few things that were kind of, weren't bad, just need work. Just, he needs to, like the frog splashes. I like them, but something was off about them just a little bit. And that's just something that, well, he needs to watch tape of how he does it and kind of, um, fix it here and there. I don't think anything was necessarily bad that he did. I just think, like I said, there's things that he just needs to kind of, clean up here and there. But again, I thought they were both really good debuts, and I hope that they stick around, and I hope that they take this seriously. And I think part of the fact that their debuts were so good is, I mean, they have probably the best training facility in the world to be training at, with the best trainers in the world to be training under. Um, you know, uh, there's very few people who get to train at a place like the Performance Center under incredible trainers that the PC has. Um, and I mean, there are tons of amazing trainers, all over the country, all over the world. But, to have the combination of the facility and the amazing trainers, I would be surprised if they didn't have a good debut. But I really hope both of them want to do this and want to continue, especially Pat McAfee. I think Dominic definitely will anyway. Because they said he's been training for a couple of years now, and I mean, he's freaking Rey Mysterio's son, so how can he not? But I do genuinely hope that Pat McAfee really considers thinking about doing this, as a second career, and that's not just from me being a Colts fan and loving him anyway. I legitimately thought there was talent there.
Okay, Colts fan. But I gotta say, once again, Dominic was outstanding to me tonight. Far as but Casey, I want to piggyback off something that you said about his delivery of the frog splash. He gonna have to polish that for sure. You got to polish that. He got to polish that properly. I like the sequence he was going with. Far as he hit him with the 619, they fall. Then he does. I like that. He need to polish that up real good and have it as the finisher. But I'm ready for either Rey Mysterio to turn on each other and in the Messiah, because that's gotta happen. Or either he's gonna turn against his father, or his father gonna show him tough love. That's got. I mean, because for one, we haven't seen, because somebody they didn't know, people don't do their history, but Rey Mysterio hasn't been a heel in a long fucking time. We ain't seen a heel Rey Mysterio in a long time. So it'll be interesting to see a heel Rey Mysterio, or Dominic. I kind of feel that Dominic's gonna be the one to turn heel on Rey Mysterio and join Seth Rollins, which would be golden, because I do want to see that Survivor Series match between father versus son, and son takes his father's mask. I think that would be fucking dope. Which makes for an excellent second match. I mean, it's so many you can get from a feud between them, and Dominic feuding with his father is going to actually do something great for his career, because that tradition with the mask, that has to, because you notice tonight he didn't come with a mask. They was kind of teasing that he didn't come with a mask. So if they make a storyline out of how he gets the mask, it's going to be dope. Or him making mockery of his father, it's going to be dope. They got a lot of material to work with this one. Like I said, I wasn't a big fan of it. Like I wasn't a big fan of the story angle was build up, but we getting it, and it's actually, WWE gave me something that I didn't know that I actually wanted. I want a Dominic Mysterio. Yes, I said it. I wanted a Dominic Mysterio, and I did not know. I like it. I like this. This was a real good match. And bullshit of a frog splash, which bothered me because I'm an Eddie Guerrero fan. But this was. I want more. Okay. All right, DJ. I want more. All right.
Well,
I think we covered everything, man. I think we completely
I think
covered.
we had one more point.
WWE Summer.
and to piggyback off a point that you just made about having them feud in the Survivor Series match, at Survivor Series, and maybe having him go over on his dad and take the mask. That would be really cool, and cool for the younger generation, because if you think back, it's been about 20 years, a little bit over that, since we've seen Rey Mysterio without a mask, and we've seen it, right? There's a lot of people who act like we've never seen him without a mask. We have. It's just been like about 20 years. So that would be a big, for the younger fans, like, oh, what? And then we'd be like, yeah, no, we've seen this. It's not cool.
You got me so excited now. Now I'm excited. Now I'm super excited. Yes, make this happen, WWE. Now I want to have. You shouldn't have said. You shouldn't have said nothing. Now you got me too overly pumped. Now I want more Dominic Mysterio, more Rey Mysterio. I never really like. I'm be honest. I have not been that big on Rey Mysterio. I didn't give a. In recent years, I haven't been getting the shit about him. But this has me actually excited, because if his son turns, which it makes perfect sense, if his son turns against his son, has kind of been not listening to him properly, as a son would, far as but he wants to prove himself. So that dissension has to happen, and him getting his father's mask. I don't want to see Rey Mysterio reward him the mask. Say, "Here's son, La Familia." I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I want to see Dominic get his father's mask. Say, like, DJ closes out, man. Closes out.
I don't even want to see him put it on. I want to see him just rip it off and, just step on it or something like that. Like, I want him to symbolically be like, listen, I'm not you. I am not I'm not another Rey Mysterio. I am Dominic.
I can see that. I can see that if we're going with him getting the mask, or him getting the mask and because his father trying to give him a mask. I can see the rebellion. Okay, I can see that.
That's good. I'm even more interested now, just by throwing thoughts around at this point, But I'm definitely excited. I want to see what they're gonna do. Because I think having Dominic do something like that would be almost like, I think it would catch some people by surprise if they don't listen to this show here, because I think people are just expecting, like you said, me familia, here, take them, like people are expecting that. We expect that, but we don't expect him to join Seth Rollins. Like, we just don't. Like, Seth Rollins has done every dastardly thing he can do to this entire family. So what more is there left than to turn your own son against you? Like, that's perfect. That's the climax right there. And then let Dominic kind of have a run of his own, and also be able to learn under Seth Rollins, who is a freaking stud in the ring, promo wise and everything. So it builds even more as well, kind of the chemistry they can build. But nonetheless, you got one more thing to say, T-Sean? I feel like I don't want to cut you off. I feel like you got one more thing to say. You good?
Man, I am good. I'm thinking about some, like, I'm a big fan of Dominic. Like, tonight, I'm a fan of a lot of folks right now. I think honestly, I was negative against, like I said, I was negative against him, but I think that Dominic has a bright future, honestly, because I was so like I said earlier, y'all, I was so negative of, I couldn't stand this storyline. I was like, they just doing this because of the contract and the agreements with Rey Mysterio. But Rey has really been working with his son, which is no surprise. But I just didn't believe in his look. I was like, he looked too, too tame. But um, this was a treat. So just to see what next.
Well, and I think for me, what really put it together is he actually, had legit gear. He had real pro wrestling gear. It put it together like,
In the street
yes,
fight.
yeah, he is he is gonna be a WWE superstar. I would have liked to have Pat McAfee have a little bit more of a wrestling gear rather than like just shorts and like a t-shirt, but I was still okay with that. Um, but I think that really because like you said before in the build up to this, I was like there was something about it where I was like, Dominic is just he's just Rey Mysterio's son. It's not gonna be anything legit. And then he comes out, to kind of his own, has his own entrance, has his gear, like this is legit. Um, so I'm excited.
Go figure. WWE got us excited. I don't know if we're excited for payback next week yet. I don't know. It depends on what they do in this coming week to get me excited because I don't know why the heck they got a pay per view back to back like that. That's dumb. It's also kind of dumb that they're not not making these pay per views like special almost like payback coming. And I should feel like I'm like I still don't think they did a good job with the whole SmackDown thing. SmackDown and Raw thing, like, make me want to watch one pay per view or the other because SmackDown's on it, or blah blah blah. Like, I don't know, I don't like that's one thing I'm not a huge fan of. But nonetheless, if that is all, if there's no other things to be said, we'll go ahead and wrap up right here. This SummerSlam shockers review of sorts type deal that we did tonight. Nonetheless. We're gonna wrap it up, and we'll see you guys on whatever the next big discussion that we tend to have, and definitely appreciate everybody for coming by, and the viewers of course, and also T-Shine and Casey for helping me out because I can't do it by myself.
This
Well,
was
I could,
definitely
but
special. It was definitely special. Instant classic wrestle chat. In the community, wrestling community, especially blog community as well, wrestling blog community coming together, uh, talking about good topics. I mean, this was a handful of a topic. Like I don't think we even expected to be, podcasting this. I mean, it's SummerSlam was overall in closing. What would you rate it?
um, it was probably like 7 or 8 in that area for me. Like it was definitely above average, but definitely, and we talked about this before. I think for whatever reason, COVID has really made WWE do some things to really keep us interested. I think, and not necessarily even like this was the most normal show we've had in a while. We've had the Boneyard match in previous times. We had Firefly Funhouse match in previous pay per views. We've had the Swamp match in previous pay per views. So this was the first like normal pay per view, but it was still enjoyable. There was enough to it to make you like, okay, this is a little bit more of like what I'm used to, but I like it. And for some reason, I don't know what WWE's been doing, in their writers meetings, but they've been doing a lot better. I feel like, especially with the payoffs at pay per views.
Okay, Case, what would you rate this one?
I'd give this about an 8, and then I would give Takeover a 9 because I constantly Takeover is always just a little bit better than the main roster pay per view when they come around. It always is, and I think part of that is Triple H is more in control of that, and it's just it's a completely different animal, NXT, from the main roster, and it's so weird that it's still the same company. Like it blows my mind. But
it's also the case it's special too. Like we don't see takeovers every week. We don't see takeovers every 2 weeks. We don't see takeovers every month. So when it comes, you know the feuds have been built up, and you know you're gonna get a really good payoff on everything you've been watching.
And also not to badmouth anybody on the main roster, but these guys in NXT, they want to give the best damn match that they can every single takeover, every single NXT taping, because they're trying to get that spot. They are trying to get to the NXT title. They're trying to get to the main roster. Whereas guys, and again, not trying to talk down about anybody, but like guys like Cena or Randy Orton, who know they have their spot. Like they could come out and have the worst match of their career. They're still gonna be the top stars and still get the top star paychecks and still have their spot. Whereas there's that hunger with the NXT guys, and I think you can see that on every takeover, and that's what really at least for me gets me so into it, because I can tell they want it. I can tell they have that hunger and that passion, and they're trying to outdo each other. They're trying to have the best match of the night.
Well, yeah, I give the show an 8. So I guess it's a triple 8 all across the board on this one. I mean, if I got to explain why I didn't give it a 10 is because there's some things that do situations and tragedies that I can't get that full enjoyment of the show that I want to get, but I was able to reach some form of euphoria of wrestling with it. So I give it an 8 as well. And that's not much I got to say anymore. I mean, I pretty much said it all across the board. I mean, this has been an awesome show. Enjoying the review, the podcast that we're doing now. This is we're talking about. Well, look, we're gathered around and we're talking about WWE programming. That says enough.
That's true. That's true. And with that, I guess we can sign off. I guess that'll do it. That will do it. We'll see you guys on whatever the next video we may do will be.